Why your brakes can fail even with new pads, vapor lock exposed. Imagine you are driving downhill on a steep mountain road. It is raining heavily. You press the brake pedal, expecting to slow down for a sharp corner. But your foot sinks far deeper than expected. The pressure fades away. You experience a sudden and dangerous loss of stopping power. You are accelerating towards the guardrail, pumping the pedal in panic. Later, you check the wreckage. Your brake pads are brand new. Your rotors are thick and perfect. So what compromised your brakes? It wasn't your pads. It was your fluid. Your brake fluid just boiled. This is called vapor lock. And it leaves you with a critical failure of your braking system exactly when you need it most. To understand why this happens, we must go deeper than the average driver. We need to talk about physics. Most people think the brake pedal stops the car. This is wrong. The pedal is merely a hydraulic pump. Your entire braking system relies on one fundamental rule of physics, Pascal's law. Pascal's law states that pressure applied to a confined fluid is transmitted undiminished in every direction. Liquids are incompressible. The molecules in a liquid are packed tight together. When you push the master cylinder piston, that force travels instantly through the lines to the caliper pistons. It acts like a solid steel rod connecting your foot to the wheels. This is why a healthy brake pedal feels firm. Because the fluid does not squash, the force from your foot is transferred instantly to the pads. But this system has a fatal enemy: gas. While liquids cannot be compressed, gases are very compressible. They are squishy. If even a small pocket of gas forms inside your brake lines, the physics change completely. That solid steel rod becomes a soft spring. When you push the pedal, the force is not used to clamp the rotors. Instead, it is wasted on compressing the gas bubbles. You push the pedal down, the bubbles shrink, but the caliper pistons do not move enough to stop the car effectively. This is why your pedal feels spongy and hits the floor. But how does gas get inside a sealed, airtight hydraulic system? You didn't open the cap. You didn't cut the line. The answer lies in the complex chemistry of brake fluid itself. Braking converts kinetic energy into thermal energy, a massive amount of heat. When you stop a 2-ton vehicle from highway speeds, your brake rotors can glow red hot. They can reach temperatures exceeding 450 degrees Celsius. That heat radiates from the rotors into the pads, and from the pads into the caliper pistons. And sitting right behind those pistons is your brake fluid. Fresh DOT3 or DOT4 brake fluid is engineered to handle this heat. It has a high boiling point. But brake fluid has a fatal flaw. It is hygroscopic. Hygroscopic means it chemically attracts and absorbs water molecules from the surrounding environment. It is thirsty. But where does the water come from? It comes from the air. Even with the reservoir cap tight, moisture enters through the microscopic porosity of the rubber brake hoses. It seeps past the seals of the master cylinder every time the piston moves. It is a slow, invisible, and relentless invasion. Research shows that over time, all standard brake systems absorb moisture from the atmosphere. It is unavoidable. A typical system can absorb about 2 to 3% water content within a few years of operation. Now, let's look at the data. This is where the danger lies. Pure DOT3 fluid has a dry boiling point of roughly 205 degrees Celsius. But once it absorbs moisture and becomes wet, that number changes drastically. With just a few percent of water content, the boiling point crashes down to around 140 degrees Celsius. That is a massive drop of 65 degrees. Your safety margin has just evaporated. Let's go back to that mountain road simulation. You are riding the brakes to control your speed. The friction is generating heat. The calipers are getting hotter. 100 degrees. 120 degrees. 140 degrees. Suddenly, you cross the threshold. The water molecules trapped inside your brake fluid can no longer stay liquid. They instantly phase change into steam. When water turns to steam, it expands 1,600 times in volume. Pop! A pocket of compressible gas forms right behind your caliper piston. This is the exact moment of vapor lock. It is crucial to distinguish this from brake fade. In brake fade, the pads get too hot and lose friction, but the pedal still feels relatively firm. In vapor lock, the hydraulic link itself is compromised. Your brake line is acting like a pneumatic line filled with steam. You pump the pedal frantically, but the steam just compresses and expands. You have a dangerous reduction in braking power. And the terrifying irony is that this failure is invisible. You cannot see it by looking at the pads. It lies dormant until the brakes get hot, and then it strikes. So, how do you distinguish between a spongy pedal caused by air and a spongy pedal caused by vapor lock? If your pedal is always soft, even when the car is cold, you likely have air bubbles trapped in the lines from a bad bleed job or a leak. But if your pedal feels firm in the morning, but goes soft after hard driving or going downhill, that is vapor lock. That is your fluid boiling. Here is your survival protocol. How do you prevent this invisible failure? Step 1. Do not trust your eyes. Many mechanics look at the reservoir and say, "It looks clear, it's fine." This is dangerous advice. Clear fluid can still be saturated with invisible moisture. Dark, sludge-like fluid is definitely bad, but clear fluid is not a guarantee of safety. Step 2. Use the scientific method. You need a brake fluid moisture tester. It is a simple pin-shaped tool that measures the electrical conductivity of the fluid. Water conducts electricity better than glycol. Dip the probes into your reservoir. One green light means less than 1% water. Safe. Yellow means caution. Monitor it closely. Red means high water content. If you see red, do not drive that car on a mountain road or highway. Flush the system immediately. Step 3. Upgrade your chemistry. When you flush the system, check your owner's manual. Most modern cars use DOT3 or DOT4. If allowed, upgrade to DOT4 or DOT 5.1. DOT4 contains borate esters. These chemical compounds act as a buffer. They bond with the water molecules and prevent them from boiling as easily. This keeps your wet boiling point higher for longer compared to standard DOT3. Stick to high-quality glycol-based fluids that match your manufacturer's specification. To summarize, new pads mean nothing if the fluid pushing them is compromised. Brake fluid is the lifeblood of your stopping power. It breathes in moisture every single day. Over time, it turns from a safety device into a potential point of failure. Vapor lock is rare in normal city driving, but very real in heavy braking scenarios. Do not wait for the pedal to hit the floor. Test your fluid this week. Physics does not care about your brand new brake pads. It only cares about the chemistry boiling inside your lines. Next video, we will reveal what actually happens inside your ABS module when you brake on ice. Subscribe to survive.